What was that?
I am a Gundam.
What's up, guys? Gundam fan, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're at the desk, which is upstairs. You rarely see this unless you're part of the stream. So hi. Right, today we are looking at some new scribers that arrived last week, which was a recommendation to me by Godfinger. I'm going to link his YouTube down below. Because scribing is something I enjoy doing, and like, you know, if a new tool comes onto my radar, I like to pick it up, give it a try. So on the desk, I've got a range of scribers, starting from something I started with, and some of the sort of mid-range tools and some of the high-end tools as well, just to sort of go over them. And what we're going to do is I've put some sort of not masking tape, sort of guide tape on this piece. I've chosen this blue because I'm hoping once I sand it down, you'll see the lines a little bit better on camera. So we're going to give that a go and sort of like go through like what these are normally used for, like metal scribing in sheet metal work or whatever. But they're good enough, they're sharp enough, and it's certainly maybe good enough to start a guideline. But this is relatively cheap in the UK. But this is a Silverline brand, which is, I believe, a UK brand, but pretty sure it's just a rebranded thing that you can get from anywhere. Moving on, there's another sort of metal scribe for industrial work, again for metal. You know, if you are a sheet worker or you work in the steel industry or whatever, and you want to sort of scribe the metal, so you've got some sort of markings, or if you want to write on the metal, for example, if you're not using a chalk pen, this is a relatively cheap scribe as well. The camera's probably not the best for YouTube videos because the zoom is rubbish. Next, I think I bought this tool. I think everyone sees this on Amazon, guys. Cheap. I'll give that a go. It does come with a range of sizes from 02, 04, 06, 08, and 1mm, and the spanner, Allen key or wrench, to then add the tool into the end. It's quite chunky. It's very, very light though, so you know, prolonged use, it's going to be okay. And I do believe that the tools can fit in here, but I wouldn't put them in there just in case they get blunted or whatever. But they're not the best in terms of, they're not tungsten, I don't believe, or any sort of like super sharp carbide steel or whatever. They're just like machine bits of metal because they're cheap. So they might do for now, and you could probably sharpen them and get some use out of them if you want to do some practice. However, you might pick up some bad habits using these tools. However, you know, I can't have an opinion unless I bought them and tried them. So I have tried them; they do work. But we're gonna sort of do a comparison with the tester. Next up, I got the gritter from Gun Primer, which is basically a needle in a mechanical pencil. It does the job, and I would use this to sort of do pre-scribe like channels. Just to lightly scribe, and like that's it, put it away. I wouldn't necessarily use it to do scribe lines. However, you can do it after a few passes. It will pass as a scribe line. If you want to do some right fine work, it will do it. It will do the job. But yeah, essentially it's just a needle and a mechanical pencil. Then over the years, I've got these tools from Display. I don't know why they change the tools all the time. Obviously, they're pushing the envelope and trying new things all the time. This triangle shaped tool isn't the best to hold. It is really nice machined and it works well, and it's got a twist choke collar, and it does have a removable end if you want to store your bits in there. Again, I wouldn't do that because you might damage them if you put a bunch of them in there and you're shaking it around, whatever. But nevertheless, it's still a beautiful tool to look at. But in practical use, it's not very comfortable to hold a lot. So it's probably why they went with this cylindrical one. It's looks like a cheaper tool, which they've rolled out, which has got a flat spot here, which you can then tape the size of the tool in the end. So you can buy a bunch of these. It's more ergonomic and it feels better in your hand. And it is just 2 parts, or 3 parts if you include the lid, because it's got the grub in there for holding the tool, which you can interchange with all the different range of hooked broaches and chisels that they have in their range. And for now, you know, I've been using these quite a lot and they work really well. And it's got a magnetic lid as well on both ends. It's magnetic. So there's quite a few components to this first one that they brought out. But it's a shame that it's triangles. So it doesn't feel right in the hand. Moving on to the more high end, or you know, the more professional tools of the sabes. I think there is a NYC version of the sabes. I don't know whether that's because they're branded by the particular modeler or company, but I would like to pick some of them up as well. Maybe because I've only got 0.3, 0.15, 0.5, 0.1, and another 0.5. I think this one was a gift to me. So I've got 2 0.5s. Might do a giveaway for this 0.5 at one point, because there's no point having 2. So the next range I'd like to get is a 1 mil, a 3 mil, 2 mil, possibly a 0.7, but try out the NYC versions. But these are really, really good. They're really sharp, and these are a tungsten, I believe. They're very, very good chisel. They're very nice. They're nice and light. They're very sturdy. And I swear by them. You know, it's not just, oh, you're just buying a brand, or you're just buying them because, you know, they're top end. You get what you're given when you shell out for these tools. And you'll see a lot of these being used by the modelers in the East, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, and Japan, and so on, in Korea. And then we get into these guys, which arrived when was it? Monday. It was yesterday. I was really ill yesterday. This video was going to roll out yesterday, but I don't know why, but I woke up being sick. I was on and off the toilet. I was shivering. You know, I don't know why. I don't know if it was one of those 24-hour bugs, food poisoning. I've got no idea. I was watching Super Bowl Sunday with a couple of friends on Sunday, and I was fine, absolutely fine. I went to bed, and I didn't feel anything untoward. And then I woke up in the morning, and I just felt so rough. It was horrible. It was really weird. So this video was going to be made yesterday, but I've rolled it out today because I'm feeling a little bit better today. I've had a rest. Yesterday was a complete write-off, and you know, you get those days. Anyway, this was look at that. What a cool box. I've never seen Tamiya cement in this configuration before. Normally in the UK, Tamiya cement comes in these little square bottles. So I've not seen this type of Tamiya product before. I don't know whether this is China, Korea, Hong Kong. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the store where I got this from was based in Hong Kong. Okay, so it's been double bagged, and it came with a wax paper as well. So it's been well packaged, well, really. Do you remember those games you used to play as a kid, Pass the Parcel? Do you guys ever play that? Where you're in a ring of kids at a party, and there's a parcel, and when the music stops, you got to take a layer off, and then the music starts again, and you run it around, and then the kids are like holding on to it, like what, you know, and then when the music stops, they're like, no, it's my turn, and yeah, eventually whoever opens up the last wrapper, he gets the prize. I don't know if you guys do that where you're from, but Pass the Parcel was a staple in kids' parties when you're growing up. But this is well packaged. These were not getting damaged by any means. Right, so these are line tools. I don't know the brand. These were recommended to me by Godfinger. Because he was holding an event Unfortunately, I couldn't make the event because of the time difference. But certainly these tools look good to the point where once I've tried them out, there is another type of tool that they do, which is good for going around curves, as well as chiseling seam lines. You can, like, if you've got two pieces butted together, it's got like a diamond curve, so it scribes on two angles, so you can do two little grooves, two in one. So I want to give that a try. But they come nicely boxed, like the Sabes. They come like this. You've got an extra bit of tube, which you can either use for cushioning, for holding the tool, or like what they've done here. These really weren't going anywhere. So you can buy these with confidence because you know you're going to get them in good condition. Don't worry about the tape. You can use like an alcohol to get that off. Okay, let's get these out. We can talk about what's inside. Now, these sizes are, not only are they on the box, they are on the tool as well. So they're etched onto the tool so you can never forget. 0.5 to 0.6, 0.3 and 0.4. Now, I didn't go for anything smaller because I've got a 0.1 here and a 0.15. I could have gone for a 0.25. But the 0.1 is quite small. So it's like 1/10 of a centimeter. So that's, yeah, that's quite small. Anyway, yeah, you get a bit of tube each, which is the length of the tool, I believe. So you can slide it all the way in. Yeah, it's roughly the same length of the tool itself, but it does come with two rubber parts on there to protect the blades. And they are your chisel type. They're not curved. And it's quite a heavy tool, to be fair. I don't know whether this will be good for prolonged use or not. But it certainly feels good. And if you do use the rubber on the end, save you stabbing yourself in the hand, you can rest that on your hand like so. Use it as a pencil, and it is preferred to use them like a pencil. However, unlike a pencil, which you can do flowing and free, or three-dimensional movements with a chisel, hold it like a pencil, but only do it in a straight line. If you need to curve or anything, turn the piece, not the scribe. So I'm going to give these a go. I'm going to use the smaller one first, 0.3. And give it a go because I want to use some of these others. That's why I've got some multiple strips here. So to give it a go. Oh wow, that is. I'm not even putting any pressure on that whatsoever. Just letting the tool do the work. I'm going to put now. I've got the line. I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on and see if I can. That's a very clean line. Very impressed. That's nice. And I've only done 10 passes. Well, I don't know how we're gonna compare these on camera, but what I'll do is I'll give it a sand down so it fills the gaps with material, and then you can sort of see. So I'm going to do a 0.3 with the Sabe, which I'm assuming is going to be exactly the same almost. Such a satisfying feel when you're scribing through. Oh, Right, now a deeper line. Okay. Right, so now we're going to try it with the display. I'm going to go with a curved brooch. Oh, where's the curved one? It is curved. A hooked brooch, if you like. And I like these because they're curved, like the curved nature of them. I like using them to go around, say, something cylindrical. Not necessarily around curves, but I don't know. It's something about the curved brooch where you can see what's happening from a distance. Because the blade is curved, so you've got more visual. You zone in on what you're doing. And it is very, very smooth. It's not jumping whatsoever. And you can see the material just literally curling out. The nest. So when the material comes out like that, you know it's removing it very, very efficiently. So these are very, very good for lines. So if you want to do a straight line, for example, just a straight line, and then use the chisels for notches and scribing thicker lines, these are really, really good for the initial line itself, because that material is coming out very nice and smooth. Right, that's that one. I'm going to use a chisel from display now, because that was a curved brooch type. This is a flat chisel type. And I think this is a 0.5. It's quite thick, this one. Oh, no pressure, otherwise you skip. Why am I? How odd. That's really bizarre. This thing wants to go all over the place. Doesn't want to follow the guide at all. Doesn't want to follow the guide. Look, it's all over the place. It's really bizarre. Yeah, I'm not even putting any pressure on. Now, if you put pressure on, you are likely to skip or move, or even just go in the wrong direction. But I'm not putting any pressure on that, and it's just not ignoring. It's ignoring the guide tape altogether. So this one's going to be a short line. Now, I don't believe it's at all. Might be that the application of the guide tape there doesn't like it. And also, the guide tape, I think, has got a dip in it there, because definitely check the guide tape doesn't have any damage to it. But I think that particular part of the tape had a little bit of a dent in it, so it's got a little groove in there, almost like what you see in vinyl. So that's a really, really bad line, that one. So we're gonna check that out soon. Now we've got the gridder, which, like I say, is good for doing starting lines. Very, very smooth. If you hold it at the right angle, you probably can't hear it, but it's very, very, very smooth. No jumpy, no jitteriness. Again, the material is coming off really, really nice. And that is not a bad line either. And like a mechanical pencil, you hold it in, press the needle in, and it retracts, and you're good to go. You put it in your pocket, do whatever you want with it. Right, next up, we've got the Chinese I'm saying Chinese. I don't know where this is actually from, but you know, considering it's on Amazon, it's probably like Chinese of origins or whatever. But it's been rebranded by all sorts of different companies. So someone out there makes this particular tool, and then it's repurposed by whoever. I don't know what size I've got in here. They're not really marked on the tools. Even though it's got there's the numbers on here, it doesn't represent it inside here, so they're a bit of a jumble. But it does look like a 0.2. No, 0.3, sorry. Okay. Surprisingly, it's quite smooth. The material is coming off in strands. It is screeching a little bit. And I can see shadow, so it is. I hardly ever use this thing, but from what I am seeing, I'm actually quite surprised that is very, very, very true. It's nice. Can't believe I just said that. Okay, next up we've got the pencil. Let's do that here. Because it's designed to scribe metal, you'd expect it to do its magic on plastic quite easily. But it's literally powder. Rather than strands of plastic, it's causing the plastic to sort of deteriorate in fibers rather than strands. So what that's doing is it's making the plastic edge furl up, almost like rounding off the edge, rather than it being like a straight flat edged surface. It's raising the surface up. I can see like white plastic residue on the edge there, so it's probably not a good idea. I'm going to say the same with possibly this one. It might do exactly the same. No, it's bringing out strands. It's very quick because it's very light. And the line does look very, very nice and square, even though it's just a cheap like metal scribe. You can use the back edge of a blade or a hobby knife if you wish to sort of get yourself going. But certainly upgrade your tools as you go. Right now, I'm going to pull these off. And have a look. And the display tape that I use is really, really good. I prefer that because it's got markings on the tape, as well as the adhesive that they use is really good. That if you pull it off, you can put it on another piece of the plastic, and it keeps its adhesion. Right, I need to sand these down. I haven't got any tape on that, so that's great. Right, so you can tell why I was having an absolute nightmare with that 0.5 display tool. Look at that. It was jumping all over the place. I don't know if you can pick that up yet. But here is the new tool. These two are the sabs. This one was the Chinese tool, I believe. That one, even though it was this tool and it was pushing the edge up, it's a very, very nice, clean line. And this is the like metal scribe. So there are clean lines, unless what I said about the tape had a bit of a dent in it, so you do get a bit of a waver in the lines. So just make sure when you cut your guide tape off that the edges are nice and how you want them. It's very rare that you'll be doing lines this long anyway, unless you're doing like guide services or flight services on wings or something. You generally, you know, but the thing is, if you have a wing, generally models nowadays, if it's got a any flight surfaces, they are sort of like guided for you. But if you want to sort of like make them a bit deeper or whatever, you don't necessarily need the guide tape because the guide is already there for you. So you can use the actual existing panel lines to use the tool in. But certainly, the Sabe and the line tools are producing the cleanest of lines. But surprisingly, the cheapest of tools are also producing the cleanest of lines. So these 3 lines and these 2 lines are from the expensive and the cheap. What do you think of that? Have a think about that. The only thing that's going to sort of restrict you a little bit is these don't come in various sizes. So it is literally only going to produce one type of line or one type of width. So that is why having these tools is possibly good for using them as a guide run. And then if you want to do steps in sizes or like a thin line with a notch in the middle, you can then use the different widths to get the desired look that you want. Now I'm really surprised, but I'm not shocked that these are a decent scribing sets. These guys here, the good line. These sort of tools I would sort of avoid, even though this wasn't too bad. It was the tape that was letting this tool down. Possibly if you have one of these now and you use them and they're fine, that's good. But I would certainly try to outgrow them if you could. But I thought I'd buy them as I go along, try them out as I go. And you know, like I say, you can't base an opinion unless you've used them yourself. So it's always good to grow your tool range and try them out and experiment on different things. And hopefully, if you've enjoyed the video, if you could give us a thumbs up or share or subscribe or whatever, I'd really appreciate that. Check the streams because this is where I am. This is what I do. I'm currently building the Stargazer on stream as well as the Calamity Gundam for gunpla.co.uk, which will be carrying on tonight. I'll be finishing this guy tonight. But you know, by all means, thank you so much for checking out the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, if you've bought any of these tools or if you tried them, what's your opinion? What one's your favorite? Because I've yet to use these like properly yet, so I've just unboxed them, so I've got to give them a go. The sabs I really enjoy, and the hooked brooches from Display I think are really clean. But now after I've seen this, I might start using this tool a little bit more, just maybe as the guiding start, and then once I've got my little channel, go to the proper scribers, because this is a good starting line, and they've got really nice nice true edges. Let's give you a show again. They are nice and straight. Now I don't have anything that's like 2 or 3 mils, so I can do like thick lines or anything like that, which is why I want to get some more of these that go into like maybe the 2s or the 3 mils, maybe even a 4 mil, because that way you can like scrape off large pieces of material. So if you've got like a leg piece or whatever at the bottom near the knee, you can scrape off 4 mils and then create like a step in the plastic. So that's kind of what the thicker chisels are for, that sort of like large displacement of material. Anyway, I am now covered in fluff. I need to go and have a shower because I'm in my dressing gown. Thank you so much, guys. Really, really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Watch your profanity.
A center of gravity.
Bisexuality.
This is what it does.
Oh, there goes gravity. Mom's spaghetti.